Hey everyone, I'm Sarah.
I'm Lucinda.
And welcome back to another color class. In today's color class, we are going to be talking about the 4 versus the 6 palette system. So 4 meaning the 4 seasons that you hear a lot, the spring, summer, autumn, winter, versus the 6 dominant characteristics, which is light, deep, warm, cool, soft, clear. Now, why do we not love the 4 seasons?
Well, we love the 4 seasons.
Yes.
But as far as we love the four seasons as far as it goes. Well, not even for us.
That's what I was going to say. Why do we not love the 4 seasons?
Exactly. So the 4 seasons is great. It goes back like 100 years. I mean, it goes back. It goes back, and it's 4 distinct buckets of people, the way they look. But we all know that instead of being 4 distinct color palettes, we are a gradient. We're all over the place. We are all over the place. And what the 4 seasons doesn't take into consideration is deep skin tones, neutral skin tones, really super light skin tones.
Competing colors, whether they're warm and cool. Any person that falls in a competing palette, it doesn't really take into consideration. And you would probably think, oh, we fit perfectly into the 4 seasons. We do not at all. That's why we personally don't love it, because we're kind of outliers, just like most of you are, actually.
And for those of you who don't know us, who are new to the channel, I'm her mom. She's my daughter. The reason I tell you this is because I had her color journey. I started out as a golden blonde. By the time I was 12 years old, I had that color red hair, and now my hair is this. We've always had the same color eyes, and we've always had the same skin tone, with a couple of changes. I spent a lot of time in the sun as a youth. I made sure she was covered up with SPF from birth. So she's never had the sun damage that I've accrued. So our skin tones, mine now is a little bit warmer for that reason. Hers is still cooler. But the bottom line is, she is where I was exactly 38 years ago.
Right.
And so that it's been very informative to us in certain ways. For example, people say your season in the 4 seasons never changes. Well, I was born in spring.
So you had golden blonde hair.
Golden blonde hair and vivid blue eyes. Then by the time I hit puberty, my hair had become this color, and my eyes had become greenish, grayish, bluish. Kind of a hazily blue.
And also, we have very cool brows. I pencil mine in to be warm, but our brows are very ash gray. Like an ash gray, it's like a little bit deeper than your hair color, but
and that's all
cool.
And that's all natural. So when they say, well, look at the skin tone, look at the hair color, look at the eye color. Well, okay, what if they are all different? And that happens a lot. We are not the only people.
Perfect example is, so as you mentioned earlier, you stayed out in the sun. She was always her foundation shades were always darker and warmer. We've always been on that trajectory. If I want to match purely to my skin tone, I am very cool. As we age, we should do our palms. So what happens is...
So you would look at us and say, oh, Lucinda has a warm skin tone. Sarah has a cool skin tone.
Look at our palms. Now, of course, we don't have sun damage in our palms, really at all. But you can see what's happening as we shift in age in real time. You can see cooler skin tone versus warmer. And I'm the one that does not do the sun. I do not have warm skin tone at all. And look at the color of my palms versus yours.
As I've aged, I've become cooler and pinker. And the reason for that, if you look it up, feel free to look at scientific studies and journals, but your skin tone does change. So does your hair color. Your hair color loses melanocytes. Your skin also loses melanocytes. But
eye color.
But it also becomes thinner. So I'm 68 years old, my skin has thinned, so you're seeing more of the blood vessels underneath. Cool skin tone is actually pink skin tone. If you really look at foundations, go into a store and look at what they designate as warm, what they designate as cool. The warms are yellowish. The cools are pink. They're not blue. They're not, they're pink. So a cooler person is a pinker person, and a warmer person is a more yellow person.
Unless you go deeper in skin tone, then the cooler person is going to be bluer. So that's the only difference.
Really deep skin tones, then it gets to be blue. But I'm talking about us. And so basically, the difference you see is 38 years of aging.
Yeah.
Because I was 38 when I had her. So I got ahead of the curve by 38 years. So how does this all fit into seasonal color analysis? Because we may have seemed to have gone a little far afield. Traditional 4 seasons color analysis, they will tell you, people who do that exclusively will say, your season never changes. It does. We're proof. They will say, well, you'll always fit into one of 4 seasons. Those 4 seasons are light and cool, light and warm, deep and cool, deep and warm. Those are the 4 seasons. Light and cool is summer, light and warm is spring, deep and cool is winter, and deep and warm is autumn. So you'll always fit into one of those 4. We do not.
Nope.
And we've gone through a trajectory where even if we got close, we would have been through 3 different seasons. Hence, we are teaching you in this color class, throughout this color class, not only the 4 seasons, we're teaching you the 6 dominant characteristics. We will be teaching you the 12 seasons. I say that loosely. It's 12 different colorways. And the 16 different palettes.
And 3.
And more.
Yes.
So the point is, in order to capture all of our beautiful, varied glory in terms of our coloring and the vast difference of our coloring, we need a broader set of systems. And for you to be a great color analyst, you need to know all of them. And that's why we're here.
Absolutely. So let's kind of talk about the 6 palette system. Why we love it. What are the pros and cons? Because the pros are it's very a wide range. People can kind of fall into these buckets, and you have the ability to kind of sway on a spectrum. So our first spectrum is light to deep. Our second spectrum is warm to cool, and our third spectrum is soft to clear. And you can kind of fall into different buckets along the spectrum and really just look at your most intense feature, which is your dominant characteristic.
And the fun part of all this is it all fits together like a jigsaw puzzle. The reason that I say that is we talked about light to deep. If you look at a person and you're thinking, well, are they light or are they deep? You make an assessment, they're deep. So you have deep. You look at that same person and you say, well, are they warm or are they cool? You make an assessment. You say, they're warm. With just those 2 dominant characteristics or 2 characteristics, you have determined, based on the 4 season color analysis, that they are in autumn.
Right.
But with the 6 palette system, you've got another set of characteristics to look at and evaluate. Once you do that, once you determine if they're clear or they're soft, then you can make an assessment of which of the 3 that you have chosen is the dominant. And that becomes the color palette you look at.
Right.
It's really so cool.
So some of the cons about the 6 palette system are, I believe you need to know a little bit more about color, because when you're looking at, for instance, the soft palette for both of us, neither of us, we have competing factors. So cool hair, warm skin, cool skin. We're competing. So we kind of have ishy hair, ishy skin tone, ishy eyes. When I say ishy, I mean like bluish, greenish, reddish, grayish hair. Everything is ishy. So we kind of fall into the soft category. The problem with the soft category is there isn't a warm soft category. There isn't a cool soft category. You kind of look at the palette and you can determine based off the palette, if you know colors, what might be a little bit cooler, what might be a little bit deeper within that palette, what might be a little warmer.
What's beautiful about the soft category is It's neutral.
Right.
So when we're choosing colors, we're choosing neutral colors, and believe it or not, we can share 80%
Yeah.
of our palette.
Right. And then that
which
20%.
is crazy, which is crazy
Right.
given, but I can wear gray. I can wear gray because of my hair. And she can wear burnt umber and because of her hair.
Right.
Now, here's a point to always remember. In your palette, it doesn't matter what season you are, what dominant characteristic, none of that matters when you're looking at your eye color and your hair color, because those colors will always be in your palette. And if you can find something in your exact eye color and your exact hair color and you find it out in the store, take it home with you, because those will always be your most eye flattering and your most hair flattering colors.
Now, one person I wanted to bring up that the internet, I feel like she is very controversial.
Yeah, they go crazy over her.
The internet is losing their minds trying to figure out what palette she is. And what is not common is the 6 palette system. The 6 palette, there is not a lot of literature out there at all. I feel like we are one of the only ones discussing the 6 palette system.
And it's so crucial because to get from the 4 seasons, and by the time we get to the 12 palettes, you will need to know the 6 dominant characteristics backwards, forwards, and sideways. But it's not taught anywhere.
So our girl, Dakota Johnson, I have seen her placed in so many different palettes, an unbelievable amount of palettes. She has dark hair, medium bluish eyes, would we say?
I'd say neutralish, kind of a soft bluish.
Okay, yeah. And then we have a darker hair or eyebrow color. Skin tone looks to be neutralish, right. Now, I get a lot that she is a soft summer, which means that she would be able to wear very soft colors like
Pastels.
Yeah, pastels, pastel pink, very light, subtle colors. And I don't think it looks that good on her.
Nor do I.
But there is a softness to her. There is something about the soft palette that does look good, but she has so much depth, so there's something missing. So she's not a summer. I don't believe she's a summer.
Nor do I.
But what she's not either is a winter. Because look at these bright colors on her. I chose bright red. Very classic winter color, and it's a very cool color. But something's off. It's too much.
And the reason that we went straight to winter is because in the 4 seasons system, if she's deep and cool, no red or gold highlights, she would be classified as a winter.
But we can see something's off here. Something like even the red lipstick should be just stunning on her. The red dress should just...
and the red lipstick is just sitting on her face.
Right.
But in the middle photo, she's wearing a lipstick that's not as vibrant, that's softer.
So we're starting to get something there.
Okay.
Because it's softer, right? So we see that she's looking good in softer colors, but we know she's not a summer because those pastel colors are washing her out like we looked at before. So what could she possibly be? Well, if we're looking at the 6 dominant characteristics, our first spectrum would be light to deep. We know she falls within the deep category. Our next spectrum would be warm to cool. We know she falls into the cool category. Our next spectrum is soft to clear, and this is what is not in the 4 seasons palette.
Soft to clear. Soft means neutral. It means muted. It means kind of hazy, ishy.
Right, like we were talking about earlier, ishier colors.
However, coming out of a tube, painting, clear means straight out of a tube, not diluted with white, not diluted with black. It is pure pigment.
Right.
So clear people can wear clear pigment. High contrast equals clear.
Right. So we know she's deep and cool. Now on our third spectrum, our new spectrum is soft to cool, or soft to clear. Excuse me. What does she fall into? Because her eyes don't have a lot of clarity to them. They're like a medium bluish color. Something about the brows are not giving very high contrast. The hair is not giving an ton of contrast. Like, I'm just feeling soft. So let's take a look.
And that lipstick was a big clue on that previous slide.
So let's take a look at some deep, cool, and soft colors versus light, cool, and soft. Because light and cool are summer colors. Here we have a purple. So I think it's safe to say our deep, cool, and soft colors really give the contrast that's needed, but in a subtle way. Because a vibrant purple shade like a winter would wear would overpower her. But look at this soft purple shade on the left versus our light and soft on the right.
Now this is, the one on the right is in the summer palette.
We're looking at a light summer color. And something is not giving the contrast that is needed.
Face and her clothing need to be of a piece. They need to complement each other.
So let's take a look at another color. This could just be a one-off, but we have more colors to look at. So again, on our left is our deep, cool, and soft, versus on the right is our light, cool, and soft. Now both of these colors look really good. I actually like the light blue.
That's because the light, cool, and soft side is closer to her eye color.
It's more of a medium color like we were talking about earlier. But since she can still pull off the deep, cool, and soft, look how it just gives the contrast that's missing. When she's wearing the lighter colors, I feel like she starts fading into nowhere. But when we see the contrast that the deep color is giving, that's when we really start seeing her coming through. And also the deeper lip as well. So we did give her a little bit of a brighter, deeper lip to match the deep, cool, and soft versus the light, cool, and soft.
But, Sarah, when you edited this, you did nothing to her skin tone.
Nope.
So I would encourage you, you know how I'm always saying, compare, look at both, close one eye, blur, whatever. Compare her skin tone in the deeper color to her skin tone in the lighter color and kind of move your eye back and forth. Believe it or not, on the lighter side, she starts to look a little sallow. She looks a little yellow.
Right.
And those are identical. It's identical. It's the same photo. So if you compare, looking back and forth, you'll start to see that her skin tone is not being enhanced in a wonderful way with the lighter color, even though it's not terrible for her eyes.
It's not. It's a really nice color, actually. And just to clarify, the only things that were adjusted, dress color, lip color. Only two things, nothing else, just so we're clear. And then let's take a look at one more. So we have a deep, cool, and soft on the left, and again, the light, cool, and soft on the right, as in a green version. What are we seeing?
Once again, the first thing I look at is her chest, the chest area right at level with her shoulder blades, and I see a skin tone that's not as fresh and healthy looking as the one on the left.
Right. And again, lip and dress color, only things that were adjusted. Look at the face. I feel like there is just her eyes glisten. They're more intense. They stand out more than they do with the softer summer shade. So this is why we love the 6 dominant characteristic for people who are just ishy. They don't fall perfectly into the 4 seasons, because there might be another palette that can pick you up. And the reason we picked Dakota Johnson in the deep, cool, and soft palette is comments. We have heard from a lot of you out there trying to figure out if this is a possible combination of being deep, cool, and soft, and it absolutely is. Because usually when you hear deep and cool, you instantly want to go clear because they have a high contrast. But there is something soft about Dakota Johnson, that these colors are much better. The softer colors are just flattering to her, versus on the other hand, where I saw a lot of people trying to put her into a soft summer, which I just don't think she is. There's something lost in her skin tone. There's something lost in her eye color. There's something lost in the hair color. It just doesn't feel as rich and just shiny, healthy.
But remember that there are 2 seasons in the 4-season system that are considered soft: summer and autumn. Those are the only seasons in the 4-season system that are considered soft. And I repeat that because people are trying to make her soft. And they can't put her in winter because in the 4-season system, there is no soft.
Correct.
In the 4 seasons. But in the summer, there is a soft. And she's definitely cool, so she can't be in autumn.
Right.
So what they're doing is they're creating a hybrid. And what is that hybrid that they don't realize that they're creating by saying she's a summer? They're looking at the 6 dominant characteristics.
Correct. And that's why we personally love the 6 dominant characteristics for some people out there. Now, you might fall perfectly within the 4 seasons, and that's great. And we love it because it makes life a little bit easier. But if you don't, try out the 6 palette system because there is definitely room for you to fall into. And each palette has its benefits and, something not so great about it. But everyone can fall into a system.
You can find a home, just like we did.
Yes, because we didn't find it in the 4 palette system. So thank you. I hope anyone who is deep, cool, and soft out there, I know there were a lot of you commenting on that. I really hope this helped you. This specific video was made for you in those comments I saw because I heard you. I am very sorry that we did not make it clear earlier on that you could absolutely be deep, cool, and soft, and Dakota Johnson is the perfect example of that. So thank you for sticking with us. I hope this video has helped. Lastly, I'm Sarah.
I'm Lucinda.
And this has been another color class, and we'll see you in our next video.